WIC is the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children funded by the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA. The mission of the WIC program is to improve the health and nutritional status of women, infants, and children during critical times of growth and development. In Alabama, WIC services are provided through the Alabama Department of Public Health and some private agencies. Local clinics certify individuals for participation in the WIC program. Women applying for WIC must be either pregnant, had a baby in the past 6 months, or breastfeeding. Infants up to 1 year of age and children up to 5 years of age are also eligible to apply. Applicants must have proof of residency in Alabama, proof of identity, and proof of income. In addition to meeting income requirements, the participant must also have a nutritional risk as determined by a health professional. Once certified, participants receive nutrition counseling, breastfeeding support, health care, and social service referrals, and supplemental foods. Currently, over 130,000 of Alabama's women, infants, and children participate in the WIC program, resulting in over $100 million being spent at authorized WIC vendors across the state. Therefore, everyone who works for an authorized WIC vendor plays an important role in ensuring Alabama's participants receive only WIC-approved foods. Foods provided by the WIC program are good sources of nutrients. These foods include milk, eggs, cheese, fruit juice, fortified cereal, peanut butter, dried beans, peas, whole grain bread, brown rice, and fresh fruits and vegetables. For infants up to 1 year who are not breastfed, iron-fortified infant formula, infant cereal, and infant foods are provided. Cashiers are an important part of the WIC transaction, and it is critical that they understand how to correctly complete a WIC transaction. Checking out a WIC participant requires a little more time and attention. Cashiers must always treat WIC participants with the same courtesy and respect as all other customers. Being friendly and helpful can make a WIC transaction easier. It is important to remember, if not done correctly, it can cost the store money. The majority of food instruments and cash value vouchers will be computer-generated. Computer-generated food instruments and cash value vouchers will have all the information printed on them and will not include handwritten information. Food instruments include the type and quantity of food items the participant is authorized to receive. Cash value vouchers specify the dollar amount of fresh fruits and vegetables authorized for purchase. Manual food instruments are issued when the computer is not operational. The manual food instrument is a pre-printed document issued at the local clinic and contains some handwritten information. The manual cash value voucher is not a separate document, but is shown at the bottom of the manual food instrument. The dollar amount of fresh fruits and vegetables allowed for purchase is pre-printed and will be circled. Never accept a food instrument or cash value voucher that appears to have been altered. If you question the validity of the food instrument or cash value voucher, contact your local clinic or the state WIC office. Every cashier must know these basic steps to successfully complete a WIC transaction. 1. WIC customer presents the food instrument to the cashier. 2. Check the WIC ID folder. 3. Verify the food instruments are within the valid dates. 4. Ensure the customer is only purchasing Alabama WIC-approved foods. 5. Do not charge the WIC program for items not received. 6. Enter the total amount of purchase prior to obtaining the customer's signature. 7. Obtain the parent or legal guardian or proxy signature. 8. Conduct a signature comparison. 9. Provide the WIC customer with their receipt. We are now going to review these basic steps.
Hey, I have 2 WIC checks today. Can I use both of them today?
Sure, just your foods will need to be separated by each food instrument.
Okay, all right, let me do that.
If the individual is using more than one food instrument, each food instrument is treated as a separate transaction.
All right, how's that?
Okay, great.
This is going to be a WIC transaction.
Okay, may I see your WIC ID folder, please?
Oh, yes.
The cashier will compare the name on the WIC ID folder with the name on the food instruments. The name at the top of the food instrument is the family name and must be on the WIC ID folder. Each WIC ID folder has the signature of the parent or legal guardian. In addition, there could be up to 2 proxies' names printed on the WIC ID folder. Proxies are individuals authorized to redeem food instruments and cash value vouchers on behalf of the participant. Not all participants have proxies. After checking the WIC ID folder, the cashier then verifies that the food instrument is within the valid dates of use. Each food instrument has a first date to use and a last date to use. Food instruments are never to be accepted prior to the first date to use or past the last date to use. As a cashier, you must never allow the purchase of foods that are not WIC approved. In order to ensure that only Alabama WIC approved foods are being purchased, all cashiers must be familiar with the Alabama WIC approved foods brochure. The brochures are available free of charge from the state WIC office. If you do not have one at your register, ask your store manager to order them. Always check the Alabama WIC approved foods brochure and compare it to the items on the food instrument. Only specific brands and sizes are allowed for purchase, and they are clearly indicated on the Alabama WIC approved foods brochure. If you, as a cashier, recognize an item is Alabama WIC approved but not scanning, bring it to the attention of your store management.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but these brown eggs are no longer WIC approved.
Is that something new?
Yes, ma'am. Effective October 1, 2015, brown eggs are no longer WIC approved.
Okay, is that in my WIC brochure or something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
We are now going to review some of the most common mistakes regarding WIC approved foods and the WIC transaction. Being familiar with the approved foods brochure will help avoid these problems and will greatly improve the WIC transaction.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
This is going to be a WIC transaction.
Okay. All right, there's the food instrument.
And that check says that I should get 1% milk, but I need lactose-free 1% milk. Is that okay?
That
Will we pay for
is,
that?
yeah, it doesn't have to be specified on the food instrument.
Okay, great. And they also was out of the 1%, so I got the whole. Is that okay?
It is. The WIC program allows us to do that only when we're out of the type that's on your food instrument. So this will be fine. You can get the 2 half gallons.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
The health needs of our participants are a priority. Lactose-free milk is allowed, even though it is not specified on the food instrument. In cases where your store does not stock the type of milk printed on the food instrument in lactose-free, the WIC participant may purchase the type of lactose-free milk that is available. The Alabama WIC program requires participants to select the least expensive brand available on the shelf at the time of the purchase for milk and cheese. If the store brand is the least expensive brand but is not available, then the participant must be allowed to purchase the next least expensive brand available on the shelf at the time of the purchase, even if it's a name brand. Remember, there are 6 types of cheese that are WIC approved. The WIC customer may purchase the least expensive brand of the type of cheese they wish to purchase.
Hi.
Hey, you guys, I normally get a 16-ounce store brand cheese on my WIC, and you guys are out of that. Is it okay if I get the Kraft cheese today because they are out?
Yes, you can get Kraft, but you can't have the 2 8-ounce blocks. You have to get the 1 16-ounce block.
Okay, all right, I'll go back and get that.
Okay.
Thank you.
It is important for cashiers to pay close attention to the maximum amounts and quantities listed on the food instrument. Each food instrument lists the quantities and amounts allowed. Participants may buy less than the amount indicated on the food instrument, but they cannot go over the maximum quantity listed on the food instrument.
All right, you've got 16 jars of baby food. Let me count them. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm sorry, but your food instrument only has 16 on there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have miscounted.
Okay.
Never charge the WIC program for items that the participant does not receive. If a participant chooses not to purchase an item, then simply draw a line through the item that the participant does not wish to purchase. Food instruments for infant formula are the exception. On a food instrument for infant formula, the participant must get the total number of cans listed. WIC customers are never to receive rain checks or IOUs, so if you, as the vendor, do not have enough cans of formula in stock, you cannot redeem the food instrument. Some of the most costly mistakes regarding food instruments are on food instruments for infant formula. It is very important when checking out a participant who has a food instrument for infant formula that you always check the food instrument and compare the infant formula the participant places on the counter to the food instrument to ensure that it is the correct type of formula.
All right, your food instrument is for Similac Advanced Powder, and you've picked up the concentrate product.
Okay.
I happen to have a powder example here. This is what you should be looking for on the shelf.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. Let me go back and put these back, all right?
Okay,
Thank you.
And then y'all let you keep this with you.
All right, thank you.
The following final steps of the WIC transaction are very important and if done incorrectly can result in fines and disqualification from the WIC program.
Do you want me to go ahead and sign that?
Oh, no ma'am, I have to enter the pay exactly amount, and then I check your signature, I compare it to the WIC ID folder.
Okay.
Asking the participant to sign prior to entering the pay exactly amount is one of the most common violations. As a cashier, never ask a WIC participant to sign the food instrument prior to entering the pay exactly amount. In some cases, you may encounter a WIC participant who has already signed the check before presenting it to the cashier. The participant must be instructed to return to their local WIC clinic to have the food instrument replaced.
Okay, your total is $16.97.
Oh, I forgot this. Could you add it? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am, no problem. So your new total is $19.60. I'll draw a line through that one. It'd be $19.60. And I just need you to sign here.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
If you discover a mistake has been made in the amount, draw a single line through the incorrect amount and write the correct amount in the corrected amount box. Participants are not charged tax when using a WIC food instrument.
Hi.
This is going to be a WIC transaction?
Okay. Let's see your WIC ID folder, please.
Oh, sure.
All right.
And I put everything.
Okay, the total for that food instrument will be $12.16.
Oh, you didn't give me back my orange card?
Yeah, I have to hang on to it to compare your signature to the WIC ID folder at the end.
Is that something new?
No, we do that, like I said, to compare the signature to the signature that you'll put on the food instrument.
Okay.
And that total was $12.16. And I just need you to sign there. Okay. And may I see an ID, please?
I don't have an ID. They told me at the clinic that I just needed this because it had my signature on it.
Oh, that's right, because you're the one whose name's on the WIC ID folder. That's right. I'm so sorry, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You cannot ask to see additional ID for the person whose name is on the signature line. If needed, you can ask to see additional ID for the proxy as their signature is not available for comparison on the WIC ID folder. Only a proxy can be asked for ID. If a problem arises, be discreet. You should never embarrass the participant by announcing they are a WIC participant. Remember, always provide the WIC customer their receipt at the end of the transaction. WIC customers must be provided with their receipt, the same as all other customers. We will now take a moment to review how to handle store promotions, coupons, and returns. If your cash register system does not allow for WIC participants to participate in store promotions or coupons, contact your store manager. The state WIC office cannot provide guidance on how to program cash register systems.
Hi, Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. This is buy one, get one half off. Can I get that with my WIC check?
Yes, ma'am.
And I also have a 50-cent off coupon. Can I use that as well?
Sure, that's a cost savings for the WIC program.
Okay, great. Thanks.
WIC participants must be allowed to participate in manufacturer and store promotions. The following are examples of promotions and specials that WIC customers are allowed to participate in. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one at a reduced price. Manufacturer or store coupons. Store savings card or customer reward card. Stores are not allowed to offer incentives, promotional items, or services specifically for WIC customers or to encourage WIC participants to shop in a particular store. For example, raffles, free food or non-food items, grocery, delivery, or customer transportation are not allowed.
Hey, my proxy got the wrong formula today, so I was coming to return it for the right formula for my baby.
Okay, since you purchased that on WIC, with WIC items, we can only return or exchange for the exact same item if it's like damaged or out of the expiration date. So in instances for you to get the correct formula for your baby, you'll have to return to the WIC clinic.
Some days you might be working the customer service desk when a WIC customer asks for a refund or attempts to return infant formula. Store employees should never provide refunds or gift cards to WIC participants. This includes infant formula, even if the store allowed the WIC customer to initially purchase formula not specified on the participant's food instrument. For all formula-related issues, participants must return to their local clinic. Now let's review some of the most important things you need to know to complete WIC transactions. Common mistakes to avoid. Always check the WIC ID folder at the beginning of the transaction and compare signature at the end of the transaction. Never accept food instruments that are outside the first and last date to use. Always enter the total amount of purchase on the food instrument prior to obtaining the participant's signature. Substitution of unauthorized food items is not allowed. Draw a line through and do not charge for food items not received. Exception is infant formula. Changes or alterations are not allowed on formula food instruments. Vendors should never give refunds and only allow exchanges for the exact same item due to it being expired or damaged at the time of purchase. Food instruments cannot be exchanged for cash, credit, coupons, or non-approved foods. Rain checks or IOUs are not allowed. If you only have 21 cans of formula in stock, but the food instrument specifies 31 cans and you have a shipment coming at the end of the week, you cannot issue a rain check. Manufacturer's coupons can be used with a WIC transaction. At the beginning of this section, we mentioned cash value vouchers. The cash value voucher is processed the same way as a WIC food instrument except for the following. Only fresh fruits and vegetables can be purchased with the cash value voucher. See WIC approved foods brochure for more information. Completing the pay exactly amount, cash value vouchers, unlike food instruments, have a set dollar amount in the voucher. If the total price of the allowed fruits and vegetables selected by the WIC customer is less than the dollar limit printed on the voucher, the cashier will enter the lower price in the pay exactly amount on the voucher. The customer is not to receive change or credit for an unspent amount.
All right, sir, your total is $6.68. Okay, and I've entered the pay exactly amount there, and I just need you to sign.
My voucher was for $8. You didn't give me my change.
We don't give change back on the cash value vouchers.
Oh, okay.
If the total price of the allowed fruits and vegetables selected by the WIC customer is more than the dollar amount printed on the voucher, the customer can choose to pay the difference with cash or another form of payment. If the participant pays with SNAP benefits, no tax is charged on the overage. If the participant pays with credit, debit, or cash, then tax is charged on the overage. The cashier should never enter a pay exactly amount that is more than the voucher dollar amount. The bank will not pay the voucher if the pay exactly amount is more than the voucher dollar amount.
Okay, sir, the total is $11.06. And your voucher is for $10, so how would you like to pay that $1.06?
I'm going to use my SNAP card.
Okay, and there's no tax charged on SNAP, so your total will be $1.06.
Okay.
As you can see, checking out a WIC customer is a little more complex, so it is very important to pay close attention when completing a WIC transaction. If a participant becomes excessively unruly while you are enforcing program regulations, instruct them to contact their local clinic or state WIC office.